So essentially, ovulation is a very important event in the menstrual cycle where a good, mature, healthy egg is released from the ovary. This is a very, very important step in the reproductive function. Understanding ovulation will not only help with fertility treatments, but it also helps you understand how to plan family if you're trying to avoid pregnancy, which are the dates that you should avoid, and also to understand whether your reproductive health is normal. Next slide, please. So, when does this ovulation exactly occur? Ovulation will happen once in every menstrual cycle. Usually, if your cycles are very regular, if the periods are somewhere between 28 to 30 days, then the ovulation is expected to happen mid cycle, typically 13 to 15 days before the expected period. So, for example, the length of the cycle is calculated from the first day of your period to the first day of the next menstrual period. So, say for example, if you have had your periods last starting on 1st November and the next period has started on 28th November, then your menstrual cycle length will be 28 days. If you had your previous cycle on 1st November and the next period cycle started on 26th November, then the cycle will be 26 days. Similarly, if you have had the first day of your period was 1st November and the first day of the next period is 1st December, then the cycle length will be 30 days. That is how we calculate the cycle length of the menstrual cycle. So the ovulation process, release of egg, is typically expected to happen somewhere 13 to 15 days before your next expected period. Just to elaborate, so if you had your first day of periods on 1st November and you have a 28-day menstrual cycle, then the ovulation is expected to happen 13 to 15 days before period begins. So you're expecting the periods on 28th November, subtract 14 days from that, which is 14th November. That is when the ovulation is expected to happen. Similarly, if you have a 26-day cycle, then the ovulation is expected to happen 26 minus 14, which is on the 12th day of your period. The first day of period is the start of the cycle. So day 12 will be counted starting of the menstrual cycle. 1st November is day 1. So by that, day 12 will be 12th November, like that. And if you have 30 days menstrual cycle, then the ovulation is expected to happen on day 16 of the period, which is essentially 16th November. Next slide, please. So the exact timing of ovulation can vary. This is not a strict rule. Sometimes the ovulation may happen earlier than expected. Sometimes it may happen later than expected. And in some cycles, ovulation may not happen at all. So in each individual also, ovulation timing can vary and it can vary within different individuals as well. That's why you should not totally depend on the exact ovulation time to plan either fertility or to plan your safe period for not becoming pregnant. You have to give a rough window period of 2-3 days before the ovulation date to 2-3 days after the ovulation date. That becomes your fertile window. We don't talk about fertile period and ovulation day as one single day. It is always a range. So in a 28-day cycle, we recommend that your fertile window will be somewhere ovulation day plus minus 2-3 days. So day 11 to day 18, anytime ovulation can happen. The fertile window is then essentially a period during a woman's menstrual cycle when she is most likely to conceive. So understanding this fertile window is necessary for trying for a pregnancy or to avoid becoming pregnant either way. The fertile windows, it includes the 3 days leading up to the ovulation and a few days beyond ovulation. Now, one important thing to remember here is once the egg is released from the ovary, it can undergo the process of fertilization for up to 12 to 24 hours on an average. Sometimes it might perish earlier than 12 hours. Sometimes it may survive for longer than 24 hours, but that's again rare. So your egg can be fertilized after ovulation somewhere between 12 to 24 hours. Whereas once the sperm is deposited in the female tract, it can survive for up to 5 days. Most commonly, sperm can survive in the female tract for up to 2 days. And we have seen cases where it has survived 5 days also. So, if your ovulation is expected on day 14 of your periods, but if intercourse has happened on day 12, still there are chances of getting pregnant. If there are, if the, for example, ovulation has happened, say, on day 14 and intercourse has happened on day 15, still there are chances of pregnancy. Next slide, please.